And that's the same as, no, I mean the future insurability, my correction. Future insurability option is that. The extended own OC means if I'm a surgeon and I'm disabled more than 2 years, this only comes into play after 2 years. After 2 years, they're going to say, well, if you can do any job, you're no longer disabled. If I can stand in the front of Walmart and be a door greeter, I'm no longer disabled. But wait a minute, I was a brain surgeon. I'm not going to make the same kind of money. So if you put extended own OC, it means you have to be able to do the same educational career that you were doing. So that's a nice, I put those two on, extended own OC and future insurability for anybody who's got higher education. You can add your critical.
Yeah, it makes sense if it's something, like you said, something that makes a little more money. It's more, makes more sense if you're a Walmart greeter already. Who cares?
Right, exactly right. Critical illness, you can do up to $25,000. I like adding this rider. I talk to a lot of people now who have very large deductibles on their health insurance plans, and if they got caught with a critical illness, they're going to need some extra cash. This comes in a lump sum, tax-free, upon diagnosis. Don't have to go to any certain doctor, have any for certain x-ray. Most of the critical illness policies out there, it's you have to have a certain diagnosis, then a certain medication, and a certain x-ray, and a certain method of treatment. We don't have all those. The minute you're diagnosed, you get the cash, tax-free, you can spend it wherever you want. So I like that. When I compare it to an Affleck plan or some of these other plans that are by specific types of things, I kind of talk to clients about the fact that, on your current plan, it looks like you've got critical illness, but really, you have to find out you have cancer on Saturday wearing blue underwear. Kind of my way of joking around with my clients. You can't be sure you're ever going to get anything for it. The hospital indemnity I never really use, but the return of premium I like a lot. And I use this. One thing is these policies never fall off the books. Second thing, the client likes the fact, if they're pretty high income level, they like the fact that they're going to take some money out of their company to pay for this disability. There'll be taxed income tax on it, but at the end of the day, they're going to get the money back. And they get it back every 10 years. So if you get it on a 35-year-old, they get the money back at 45, but the policy still stays in force 55, 65. They love getting that paycheck every 10 years. Put in your producer information, and I want to run this just to show you how it runs. Oh, it's not. Okay, return of premiums not approved in Minnesota. Well, now you see how the checks and balances work here. So I can't do it in Minnesota. So I will take that off. But I want to show you how that social insurance supplement works, because that's really something that can help you save some money. So you go here, it's starting after 60 days. It's going to go for 2 years. So I could run an accident only up to 60 days, starting after 7. My OC class right here is 3A. Hopefully that's right. It says I can get a total based on my income of $1,800. You can only get 60% of what you make, never more. That's a government standard. So they're going to give me a base of $600. And as long as the government's not giving me anything, they'll give me the full $1,200. That's the social insurance supplement. If the government starts giving me $200, I'm still going to get $1,000 plus the $600. And then I'll get the $200 from the government. You can't run that social insurance supplement on a short term. And then the critical illness rider. I like taking this to my clients with the critical illness rider on it, because it's really easy for me to calculate if the premium ends up something they just can't afford or they don't buy into the critical illness rider. I can take it right off this illustration.
Yeah, easy enough.
Easy enough. And you can see it down here broken out by which payment you want. Now, the one thing about this is if you put the critical illness rider on here, they do not get a return of premium upon their passing if they have not used it. If you do it as a separate policy, the cost is a smidgen more, it covers a few more illnesses, and it also will give a return of premium if not used. So, not to mention it's an extra app count. So, I might write the critical illness separate for anybody that can afford it, but I have some like girlfriends who can't afford it, and then it's just you know, put $10,000 critical illness is just a nice little bump. So, going back here, you keep going back and forth on the same button. You know, I can keep going very slowly, it appears, through all the different products, but you're really going to use that Mutual of Omaha tab for health, and you're going to use, so now you see I can go down and do another person if I want. Go down here and pick another product.
You're on the second one, right?
Oh. Okay, there you go. And I can pick a different product, but you're going to use these two the most. The multi-life is for the work groups, and like if you're putting a group of 10 people together for disability at a company, and then if you're doing that, I would probably get some help from the home office. And this is kind of the same thing. And then if you've downloaded all of them, you'll get a New York one too. Obviously, you won't need the New York one unless you happen to have some friends in New York. So here is, there's also the, one thing I wanted to show you on this one is maybe the annuities. Most people, when they're using the annuities in the beginning, are using either the income, like where you have put in a lump sum of $100,000 and you take out $100 a month for how many years. If you want to set that up, that's a SPIA. I would do the SPIA in the ultra income. Here's the reasoning. Didn't let me do that. Okay, there's two SPIAs. You want this one. If you do the income access, they can go back in for the principal, but if you're doing a SPIA so that there's never a change in their income and you can get it for a lifetime, you're going to want to do the ultra income, not the income access. And I think I have it up there. So putting all the stuff in, policy options, you're going to have to say if it's qualified. Most of the time these are qualified. You're putting in retirement dollars, trying to get an income. Purchase dates there. You have to come into here. Whenever you see those little boxes, you have to come into them and you have to say add. And it lets you add that you're going to put a single premium of, let's just say, $50,000 in here.
That's right.
And then you have to start the first benefit date, which has to be at least a month. This down here gives you some clues, like if you're not knowing why it's not taking what you're doing, you have the clues down there. So I'm going to start the first benefit at 2017. Let's just do that. And you're going to push OK, finish all your information off, click View. And on this one, it'll show you all your options, and I like that because it's easy to take to a client. It's going to show you if you just took the $50,000 and you took a lifetime paying out, it's going to pay out a whole total of $200,000. No, it's going to pay out $200 a month.
200.
Yep, $200 a month. But if you go down, don't be tricked by that. Don't do a life only. I mean, really, I almost never do. Here's the other option. I could put $50,000 in, and I could do life with a period certain, meaning if I die the next day, it's still going to pay out for 10 years at $199, so that my client's beneficiaries are going to get back $23,000. If I want it to get back at least what I put in, you know, or very close, I could do the 20-year guarantee. They're getting $4 less a month, but if they die the day one, instead of getting $0 for their $50,000, they're going to get $47,000. The thing that's great is a 45-year-old. Oh, I'm a male now. 45-year-old. Watch for that too. It does do that. I'm a 45-year-old at 65. I'm gonna probably still keep living, or we hope. So every year after that 20 years that I live, if I live another 30 years, it's still gonna keep paying me the $196. So that's a great option as far as getting money back. Because I'm gonna beat the system. I'm gonna live more than 20 years. So I'm gonna get income past when I explain it to clients like this. Even if your bucket of money runs out after the 20 years, we're gonna still keep paying you that monthly premium until the day you die. So as long as you're alive, it's gonna pay, and even if you're alive at 115. And people like that. So can I tell you what the rate of return is in this? No. Because if you told me the day you die, I could tell you, but I don't know. But the great thing is, for retirees, is they never have to worry about running out of money. So it's just like their Social Security check. Actually even better, because if they die too soon, the lump sum will go to their beneficiaries.
And nobody knows what's gonna happen to Social Security in the next 15 years anyway.
And people love their Social Security check because it gets deposited in their account, they can count on it every month, and that's kind of how this is. So I like that, and I use the Ultra Income. Other product lists, what if you have somebody who says, I need to get out of the market, keep my money safe, and 4 to 5 years from now I'm gonna start using it, and in between now and then, I might put extra money in. The bonus flex annuity is a fixed interest rate. You get an extra % the first year, and it's a very low interest rate. It's like better than a CD, probably not as good as most investments unless you're talking about this year. And so what you do is you put money in. It has an 8-year surrender unless you have a major life event. You can only take out 10% a year. You can put new money in and not start the 8-year surrender over again. So I could dump money in it on the 7th year, 6th month, and 6 months later take it all back out. It goes with the interest rate. Currently it's 1.4. You can find it on SPA what the current interest rate is, but they get a 2.4 the first year. Every year after, they get whatever the current rate is. It might stay at 1.4, but it might go up as high as 3 or 4% too. So what I did is I put $5,000 into it, and now my 8-year surrender is starting. If towards retirement the interest rates are higher, and I'm getting 4% on this account, I can dump new money into it and take it out 6 months later for taxes. And you're not gonna find another account that's gonna do that for you. So it's a great setup. It's another extra bucket for your retirement plan. And you only have to put $5,000 in to start one. It is because the annuities are always tax deferred. You don't get taxed on the front end, but you get taxed on the growth on the back end. And that's same with that SPIA. So if it's kicking out that monthly income and it's qualified money, of course it's all going to be taxed if it was from a retirement plan. But if it's not qualified money, if it's just money that's saved in your checking account and you put it in there, that money's only going to get taxed on the growth portion. The rest of it's going to be excluded, and they call that an exclusion ratio because it's the money you put into the plan after tax. It's excluded from being taxed. Probably know all that, right, Lou?
Yeah, but it kind of still helps remind me.
Okay, what am I not showing you that I could show you here that might help? Or is it just a matter of getting in there and playing with it and then calling me?
Yeah, I think that's probably what I need to do now. Is that, I was kind of like free stuff in, but I never went to the view and where I actually figure it out.
Right.
So I was just basically doing that first screen. I was like, all right, well, what's next?
And then also,
I'll get one.
what you'll want to do is you'll want to save the client. So when I go to click off of this, it's going to say, do you want to save changes to Becky? I'd say yes. Because, I'm meeting with me the next day, I might want to save it. I just save it here under cases. And what if I open this up for the first time today? The first of the month, you have to update it. And sometimes in the middle of the month, you have to update it. So if you're going out on the road, even though this does not require the internet to do, it does require the internet to update. So before you go out on the road with this, especially if it's close to the first of the month, go on here to options, go down to check for internet updates, and it's going to go out there and check and see if there's anything that's not right, And then it'll say, yes, there is, and just put download. This one didn't have anything new. So now I could go on the road and I wouldn't need the internet for this. The new Surface Pro is you can do it on, you can download WinFlex on it and you can take it as a tablet. So that's kind of cool now. So I would play around with it. I think you're going to find that it's not as hard as you think, but it is about learning the products. And two ways you can do that. I'll send you out the agency producer opportunity brochure I talked about. That'll give you a snapshot. But the better way to really learn about the products before you dive into them too far and recommending them is to go on our training and compliance tab of SPA. And underneath there, they're called career development programs. And under there, they'll have each product individually with an entire resource guide to that product. So, you know, if you have some key products that you're going to be using, I would go in and complete those career development programs. And you can just download them on your desktop and read them.
Definitely helps, thank you.
No problem. And you want to turn that off?
Yeah, sure.